All right, y'all. So interesting list yesterday came up by CBS Sports, right? It said college football teams most poised to make college football debut in 2025, right? Let's go through the list. All right, so they got Miami, Illinois, South Carolina, Florida, Louisville, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Auburn. Now, this list is crazy. I'm not going to lie. How is Louisville on here ahead of LSU? I think LSU should have a better year this year. We'll see the steps forward Garrett Nussmeier takes. But nonetheless, to have this list without LSU is crazy because that is a team I think could potentially make one. Another team that should be on this list, I think has a chance to potentially compete that did not make it, Georgia Tech. That's another team I think with the rising star they have in Haynes King, him being featured on Phil Steele's college football preview and featured on so much more this past offseason. That is another team. Now, that's not on the list, right? Let's talk about on the list. Now, of this list, I think best position would be South Carolina and Florida. Now, everybody's going to say South Carolina's going to have a down year. They start the season slow, yada, yada, but they return a lot of their pieces. Yes, they're going to be missing their running back, but they bring back Lenore Sellers, who they expect to take, a step forward. They're going to return back their wide receiving core for the most part, right? Defensively, they're going to have back that true freshman, Dylan Stewart. Like, they're going to be good. You know what I'm saying? This team should be in that conversation if you're South Carolina, right? So I feel like that team is best positioned. Florida's another team I'm very high on. I've continued to say it. And, everybody's, questioning DJ Lagway. I think he's ready to go. I feel like he's ready for this moment. And I'm telling you, Florida going to shock a lot of people this year. That's going to be a team that makes a run. I got them winning, even though with a tough schedule, tougher than last year. I got them winning 9 to 10 games. Florida gets in. Coach Napier figures it out. Florida's going to be one of them teams to beat and very dangerous this year. That Florida-Georgia rivalry is going to be more real this year. You can bet your money on that. Now, Illinois, we know about Luke Altmaier. We know the steps he took forward. You know what I'm saying? This past year, we know he wanted to stay and get it out the mud. I respect him for that. You know what I'm saying? But you got to see the requisite weapons. And you in the Big Ten. Now, they have a very favorable schedule, which you talk about on the channel. You know what I'm saying? A couple games in there are tough. They got to play the Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? That will be a tough game. Got to play, I think, USC. Will be some tough games. But if they can maneuver that and go maybe 2 or 1-1 during that stretch, and they can get some good wins, they could potentially make some noise. They do have a very favorable schedule. So it does make a lot of sense for Illinois to be on here. Now, Miami, I don't know, y'all. I told y'all, I'm still not sold. Miami is my favorite team. I'm still not sold on Carson Beck. When I see with my own 2 eyes what we have, we will see. And can our receiving core do what we need to do? I know we're going to have Ruben Bain Jr. back, but will this receiving core be able to get it done? You know what I'm saying, this upcoming season. And then running back wise, do we have enough of the weapons in order to do it? We're going to find out. All right, now Auburn, it's same thing as always. You got the weaponry. You got Cam Coleman. You got Eric Singleton Jr. You know what I'm saying? You got Perry Thompson, right? You got Malcolm Simmons. But can Jackson Arnold or whoever your quarterback's going to be, can they get it done? That's the biggest question surrounding that team. Now, Ole Miss, I'm not sure. If Jackson Dart was back another year, I would say yes. Will their quarterback be ready to go? They should have a really formidable defensive line yet again. Another really good front seven. But the biggest question with Ole Miss, can you win the big game? Year in, year out, we ask that question. Can you win the big game? Can you go on a roll in a hostile environment and beat a Florida? Can you go on a roll in a hostile environment and beat a Alabama? Those are just questions we have that they got to be able to get done. Now, so my 2 teams is South Carolina and Florida. The other team I do want to include on this list that I think obviously could, Texas A&M's a sleeper. Marcel Reed, I know, is young. He made his mistakes last year, but they returned Le'Veon Moss, who was the leading rusher in the SEC this past year. That could be a dangerous team. I know they're not going to have Nick Scorton. I know they're obviously not going to have Shamar Stewart, but they got some guys there too, some young thoroughbreds that's ready to go. So of this list, other 3 I would take is South Carolina, Florida, and I would go Texas A&M. I like Georgia Tech as well. The other team I would add, and that they're sleeping on, is LSU. LSU going to have the best linebacking core, or one of the best linebacking cores in the country, along with the Patrick Payton they added basically in transfer portal / free agency. Can't sleep on the Tigers. But comment down below, of these teams, who's most poised to make the college football playoff, right? And who do you think should be on this list that's not included here?